I'm Hazel, it's Saturday today, which makes it time to sit down and catch up on the WoW news of the week, what I've been up to, and answer some of your questions. This week, Blizzard announced the new Warcraft mobile game. It is Arclight Rumble, Arclight Rumble, something like that. It is mobile only, it is pre-registers only yet, it's not like super available, but they're, pre-registering people for it, and there's no release date that I could see of. It looks cute, but it definitely doesn't really seem like my thing. You collect minis of different Warcraft characters and then you send them in kind of like a mobile strategy game. It's like a very narrow rectangular slice of StarCraft with less going on. I do not currently have any plans to make content for it, but I betcha somebody does. Over in traditional World of Warcraft, we got some news about the Season 4 Keystone Master mount. Originally, it was data mined to look like this kind of blue color, but then that was criticized for looking too close to the Season 2 teal version of the Keystone Master mount. So in response, Blizzard has updated, saying they are changing it to this purple and gold version of the Keystone Master mount for Shadowland Season 4. Which I think is beautiful. I like that there's going to be some pretty unique things coming out of Shadowland Season 4 to make it feel a little less bad to not skip it, I guess, because it is kind of like remixed Shadowlands content to fill time until Dragonflight. But there's some kind of neat stuff that you can get out of it, and the raid gearing system sounds kind of fun, so I'm excited. Speaking of the raid gearing system, we have a little more info about an interesting part of it, which is more details about those raid vendors that were data mined. So the deal is that when you are raiding in Shadowlands Season 4, you're doing these new fated raids, there's a quest line that you can complete 3 times for 1 piece of currency each, and that's it. Each character can only get 3 of these puzzling dinars. Each of those pieces of currency can be traded for 1 Shadowlands raid piece from one of these vendors at the normal fated affix level, so at basically Season 4 normal item level. Once you have purchased your 3 chosen items, the vendors actually pack up and leave. That is all you get on that character, but you are able to upgrade that item to Heroic and then Mythic item levels if you are rating on Heroic and Mythic, and more on that in a second. The idea here is to kind of shave off the bad luck outliers of really not being able to get a specific piece of gear that you need, especially now that we're going to be drawing from 3 raids worth of item pools as opposed to just 1. So if there's like 1 best in slot trinket for you in Season 4, you're only going to get like a natural chance at it once every 3 weeks. So this system allows you to kind of pick 3 of your best things, and then if you don't see them before you get the currency to buy them, then you're able to kind of bypass that bad luck and just pick them up off the vendor. Now that upgrade system, it sounds as though you're going to be getting currency dropping on Heroic and Mythic. They talked about shards, and then that allows you to upgrade a normal item to Heroic or Mythic using those shards. So if you had a piece of gear that dropped for you on normal but won't drop on Heroic or Mythic, or just that piece of gear that you bought off the vendor for currency, you can use these shards to upgrade it to match the item level of the rest of your stuff so that you're not stuck with a lower item level version of it forever. They talked a bit about the philosophy behind these changes, but basically they're just kind of trying to shave off those horrible bad luck situations without completely gifting you a set of gear. They want raid to still feel exciting and for you to still be happy when you get something and for it to feel rewarding for you to continue to show up without making it feel bad that you're continuing to show up and not getting that specific thing that you need. Those vendors are going to sell trinkets, weapons, and then special items, which I'm assuming is stuff like the class rings off of Anduin, for example, like the Death Knight and Priest rings would be an example. Stuff with special effects that you might have a particular interest in. So you're not necessarily trying to get your crit mastery chest piece, because there's probably going to be a few of those available, but like your Genesis Lathe, for example. The whole thing is definitely an experiment, and they talk about that in this post, but I think it sounds really good on paper. I'm really excited about it, and then if it does work out really well, they can take aspects of it that they liked and bring those forward into WoW design in the future. Speaking of WoW in the future, there were a number of posts on the Community Council forums talking about professions in Dragonflight, particularly recrafting. This is a new thing coming that's going to allow a crafter to recraft an item with reduced materials in order to change out an optional regent and or try again with their new skill level for a potentially higher quality item. The goal of this is supposed to be so people don't feel punished for crafting things too early before they've maxed out their crafting skill. You will still need some materials in order to recraft an item, but it's not as many as you would need to make another version of it brand new. And then back to Live WoW for a second, a very popular piece of news. The School of Hard Knocks achievement has been hotfixed out of the Children's Week meta achievement, and therefore out of the long strange trip it's been Violet Protodrake holiday mega meta achievement. The School of Hard Knocks was a Children's Week achievement that required you to bring your orphan into battlegrounds to expose them to various forms of violence and compete with not only the enemy, but also your teammates to do things like capture flags with your orphan out. This was widely considered to be like the most awful part of all of the holiday achievements, and it will no longer be required for your meta achievements. The achievement's still there, but you're not going to have to get it in order to get those metas. So if that has been a thing that's been holding you back from working on your Violet Proto Drake, rest in peace, sleep well tonight. It's okay, it's over. And then in my life this week, I have discovered that in the city that I live, there are all kinds of people that are selling plants and plant starts like off of their curbs and driveways and garden stands and stuff. And I think that's just the coolest thing ever. So I've been like trekking all over town with like a little coin purse, going to find them all and visit them all and bringing back all kinds of plants to my balcony that may or may not grow well, but I'm gonna try and take notes and then I'll have notes. I found a couple of plants that I was looking for in particular. I really wanted a Japanese maple and I found a little tiny one, so I'm really excited. And then questions for this week. Jimmy wants to know, did you ever play Wrath when it was retail, and any plans to play classic Wrath? So I did play Wrath when it was current. I started playing WoW during the ICC patch, so very late Wrath, but I did start playing during Wrath, and the idea of going back and kind of starting over is very appealing. It's kind of that classic fantasy of what if you were a kid again, but with everything you know now, except like in WoW version. So it's appealing, but on the other hand, I know I don't really have the stamina to invest in 2 MMOs at once, and I am too happy in retail WoW, in modern WoW, to really manage playing classic at the same time. I know some people manage to play both, but I've tried a few times and it's never worked out for me. I just go back to modern every time. So I'm not too optimistic. Maybe if Wrath Classic launched during like a huge content gap where there was nothing that I felt like I wanted to do in modern WoW, but I have a pretty long to-do list that I've been having fun with, so I'm not holding my breath for that. And then What's Up Nick asks, I'm looking to get into streaming and YouTubing. Any tips for getting started whenever I do? On a practical level, I would say start by downloading OBS Studio and getting used to the options. You can use that for streaming as well as for recording footage for YouTube. I have a video or 2 out there on it, but just kind of familiarize yourself with the basics of OBS. On a safety level, I would say to consider your information safety. It's a lot easier to do from the beginning than to go back and try to fix problems later. Being publicly visible on the internet is a safety risk to you and also to people that you know. So it's better to be proactive than reactive with things like your information and privacy. So do things like check to see what kind of information is already out there and associated with the username you plan to use. Check on if you are going to have your face in your content. If you want to have a face cam for YouTube or for streaming, do you have social media that has your face in it, that has your name on it? Or are other people tagging you with your real name and your face? Things like that. Obviously, don't reuse any passwords. Be careful what you click, that kind of thing. And then on a content level, I would say make the content that you want to see. And that's very generic advice that I'm sure you've heard before, but it's true. Think about the types of people that you like to watch on Twitch and on YouTube, and think about the content creators you've seen and the things that they do that really annoy you. And then find ways for you to not do those things. Try to make the content that you would want to watch, essentially. Worry about making content that brings value to people first, and then worry about promoting it second. For promoting it and growth, eventually you will probably want to try to make a presence on multiple platforms. It's not really enough anymore unless you get stupid lucky or have connections to just start on Twitch or just start on YouTube. But your odds are going to be better if you're making a presence on YouTube and Twitch and like Instagram and TikTok and Twitter and all of these things. But worry about all of that later. You want to just get some videos and streams under your belt, get your feet under you, figure out what it is that you want to make and how you're going to make the best version of it that you can. And that's been the week. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions for news videos, please pop them in the comments and include the word question to help me find it. Appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.